Telling my mind and body we're safe now whenever I'm triggered not only does absolutely nothing, but actually makes things a lot worse. Hi, my name is Jane. I have complex PTSD, and I make videos on my experience living with this disability, as well as my attempts to heal from it. And before I get started, I do just want to say a very sincere, heartfelt thank you to those of you who have commented. I still struggle with reading the comments. I'm still scared of the negative ones, but I've tried pushing myself to read them, and what I have read has been overwhelmingly positive, and I'm just so blown away. You have no idea how much it means. The fact that you've given me so much strength and courage and motivation to continue on with this, it really means the world. So I wanted to give a thank you to everyone who has left a positive comment. To be honest, I am feeling a little overwhelmed with the video making process. I can feel perfectionism starting to creep up on me more and more every day, and as you know, that makes things take a lot longer than you would like them to. And so in order to combat this, I was thinking, well, actually ChatGPT gave me the idea, so thanks AI, yay. But I was gonna make some more nano stream of conscious type videos that aren't as polished as the other ones. Not that I would call any of my other videos polished, but I guess like just less polished than what I have been doing. So let's see how it goes. Here we go. I want to talk about a few years ago, I read this book called From Surviving to Thriving, and it was a book about complex PTSD. It had some really great parts and then other parts that I didn't agree with. As an example, at the back of the book, there was 13 steps for managing a flashback. And in my opinion, a flashback is just another way of being triggered. But if you don't agree with me, that's fair, and please feel free to let me know. And a flashback doesn't even have to include images. It can just be feelings or emotions. But essentially what it is you're being pulled back into the past because of those neurological pathways that were wired during childhood. And step number 2 in this guide to managing flashbacks was to tell yourself, I'm safe now. You know, we're not in danger anymore. We're not a child anymore. We're not back there in the past. Well, I'll tell you about the first time that I tried to do this, because it did not go well at all. I was in an argument with my then boyfriend, now husband, and I had excused myself to the bathroom because I was just getting way too distressed for the conversation. And I also wanted to try to go through these 13 steps. So I was sitting there in the bathroom, and I got stuck on this step number 2, the one where you say, I am safe now. I kept saying it over and over again, and it wasn't working. And after a while, my body started shaking, and I could feel all my muscles were tensed up. I actually started hyperventilating. Like, I was having trouble getting air in. And like, my boyfriend came over and knocked on the door because he could hear me struggling to breathe. So that sentence was not only doing nothing, it was making me worse. And I've thought about that moment every now and then, and about the fact that I've never again said that whenever I'm triggered or in fight or flight. Just never ever used it again. My therapist told me apparently this works for some people with PTSD. If that's you and it works for you, amazing. I am very happy for you. But this video is a message for people who've tried it and it hasn't worked. And the message is, you are 100% not imagining it. It does not work for everyone. And here's why I think it doesn't work. I think you're essentially gaslighting your mind and your body by saying that. You are denying the experience that they're having. And the experience is that they don't feel safe. And you are denying that. Here's a crappy analogy for you. So imagine you're locked in a room with another person and a tiger. And the person tells you, oh, don't worry, you're totally safe. And then the tiger starts like chewing on your leg. And the person just keeps saying like, no, you're safe. You're totally safe. Like, wouldn't you hate that person? Wouldn't you just absolutely loathe them and, you know, never ever trust them again? If you survive the tiger attack, you're never going to trust that person again or anything that they say. Well, your mind and body are convinced that there's danger, and when you tell them otherwise, you're kind of just like spitting in their face. And so they're not going to trust you. So when I was in the bathroom, telling myself we're safe now, and I'm denying the experience of my mind and body, which is that we are not safe, they have a very real belief that a disagreement with another human being equals danger, a threat to survival. It means we absolutely are not safe at all. And that's because of the things that happened in my childhood. And because I was denying that message they had for me, all it did was make me go deeper into fight or flight. The tension, the shaking, the hyperventilation, those are all symptoms of fight or flight. So what do we do instead? Well, I believe a great first step to calming fight or flight is full acceptance of the message from your mind and your body. The message could be in a form of an elevated heart rate, or the shaking and the hyperventilation, or thoughts, very distressing thoughts that you might be having could indicate that you're in fight or flight. Whatever it is, just accept it fully, and that's it. You can work through it later when you're not in fight or flight, like your journaling, your meditation, your CBT. You can do all of that stuff when you're not in fight or flight. When you're in it, the only thing that you have to do is accept the message that's coming through. And you don't have to agree with it either. It's important to recognize actually that those are two very, very different things. Like, you can accept the message that you're receiving without agreeing with it. And when you validate the experience of your mind and body, when they feel heard, that is when they will release you from the fight or flight. And sometimes it takes a while, especially if you're just starting out as a beginner. And man, it can be rough trying to get through it. And that's when I actually realized what I was using alcohol for, that I was using alcohol to kind of turn down the volume knob on my fight or flight. But that's like a whole nother video topic that I do want to get into in this channel, because I think it's really important. And when you're released from fight or flight, that's when you can do your analysis and your examination and sort through, which thoughts were real and then which were just the fight or flight talking. And one important thing that I want to tell you, any of those thoughts that are self-deprecating, like the mean self-talk that you have, those are all fight or flight, okay? None of them are valid. None of them are real. They are all coming from fight or flight. And I accept those too. I have to, otherwise it won't release me. But again, I accept them, but I don't have to agree with them. I don't have to entertain them as though those things my brain is telling me are real. And sure, in the moment they feel very real, but that's kind of the point of fight or flight, right? It's trying to protect you. It's trying to help you survive. So of course it feels very real. And if you're like me, you might be wondering, well, if fight or flight is meant to protect us and help us survive, why is it so damn mean to us? And I think that's a really interesting question, which I also have an answer to. So I'll talk about that in another video too. Anyways, that's it for today. And we've got a few topics to cover in the future. So for that, I will sign off and say have a good weekend.